Hello ladies and gents, I'm the Beanie 101 and I'm here with a Mass Effect Andromeda Multiplayer class guide video. Today we're going to be focusing on the Human Vanguard, and this build is an absolute god. The survivability that you have with this particular class makes it supremely viable as soon as you start playing the multiplayer mode in Andromeda. It gains a lot of power very, very quickly, and it certainly enables you to kill things and zip around the battlefield with consummate ease. You will be topping the leaderboard with this particular class in no time at all. As you can see, I'm only level 15, and this is probably more than viable for high-level silver play, if not starting to think about gold level missions as well. The real crux of this class is based on charge and barrier, and it's all about making sure that you are consistently punching things in the face whilst also keeping your shields up at all times. So if we go into the charge skill, the first three abilities are going to give you charge as it stands. It's going to reduce your recharge speed by 35% and give you some damage and force. And really at rank 4, 5 and 6 you have a few choices to make, and this can really make or break the build. I tend to go for radius at rank 4 rather than damage and force, mainly because if I am surrounded by a couple of enemies and I want to just bash people out of the way, then the radius does have a little bit of a knockback effect, which I find is quite useful. At rank 5 you absolutely must pick weapons and melee. The plus 30 melee damage for 3 seconds after charging is exactly what you want for this build. You want to be maxing your melee damage at every possible opportunity. Power synergy gives you extra damage and force, which means that charge itself is going to do more damage, but to be perfectly honest, the way that the game is balanced right now, melee damage is where it's at. For rank 6, plus 75% recharge speed sounds very, very nice, but you are definitely going to want to go for the Bastion ability. This gives you an extra 50% of your shields restored, which means that every single time you charge, you are going to be gaining 100% of your shields back. So your view in terms of your playstyle should be find an enemy, charge at them, punch them to death, look for the next enemy, charge, rinse, repeat. The extra 35% damage is also nice, but really what you're looking for is the 50% shields restored, and the 75 damage resistance is also very nice for 5 seconds after you've charged. Once you've maxed out charge, you are going to be very survivable. You should be having no problems with bronze missions whatsoever, and should be seriously thinking about silver mission. Moving on to the barrier ability next, this is the first set of passives that you should be looking to level up. It gives you max shields, plus 25%, the regeneration and the biotic melee, plus 30% melee damage, very, very useful. At rank 4, your choices are between max shields and some more regeneration. With this build, you just want as much shields as possible, as I've already mentioned, so go for the 30% max shields. Rank 5, there is absolutely no choice whatsoever. At the top, you've got an option to improve your weapon weight capacity and shield cost reduction and movement speed. Really no contest here. You absolutely have to go for barrier drain. You're going to be charging and punching things. Every single time you punch something, you're going to be restoring 20% of your shields. On top of that, you've got another 50% increase to your melee damage. So you've got 50% here, you've got an extra 30% here. Lovely, lovely stuff. 80% melee damage increase straight away, and every time you punch something, you're going to be upping your shields by 20%. The last rank may seem like you have a little bit of a choice. Restoring 10% of your shields on a biotic kill is fair enough. Plus, it also affects all allies within 6 meters. So if you want to play a little bit more of a support class, then fine. However, saving barrier is definitely where it's at. This means that if you do get in a bit of a sticky situation and your health drops below 25%, you are automatically going to restore your shields all the way back up to 100%, and that happens once every 10 seconds. So if you're in real trouble, it procs every 10 seconds if your health drops below that 25%. In theory, this is just kind of a more of an oh shit function if you do end up getting stuck in a little bit of bother. But as I've explained in terms of gameplay loop, you're going to be charging around. That's going to be maxing your shields out. You're going to be punching things with all of the way that you've structured your build so far. You're really maximizing your melee damage. 80% melee damage here. You've got a few melee damage bonuses here as well, another 30%. And most importantly, you need to get hold of this Juggernaut shield. The Juggernaut shield, as we see here, gives you an extra 10% shields. Brilliant, we want more shields. And the damage dealt by melee attacks is increased by 75%. You're going to be doing huge melee damage. I basically don't fire my guns. I have a katana rank X and I have a charger rank X. You may notice these are two common level items. I barely use them. Barely use them at all. I just run around charging, punching things. Every now and again, you can see that I've ranked up my Nova. The choices for Nova, I generally go for Radius. The plus 40% Radius just manages to knock back enemies if I happen to charge into a group of 3 or 4. Although in theory, what you really want to be doing is picking off the enemies around the periphery and picking out single high-level enemies to really punch and whittle down. I also find that dealing with armored enemies tends to be a little more difficult than dealing with shielded enemies. Shields are really no problem for this build at all, so for rank 5 I go for anti-armor, and for rank 6 you definitely do not want to go for shield powered, which means that every time you use Nova it's going to cost your shields 100% of your shields. It leaves you massively exposed and is everything that is completely against what this build is made for. You want to go for Seismic Nova. Really, this just gives you a little bit more damage and force, but the most important fact is that it does prime them for combo detonations. So another thing that you could also do if you do fancy certainly utilizing your guns a little more, and this is a strategy that you can use for gold rather than bronze and silver, which you can pretty much face roll by charging and punching. You may want to consider equipping some boosters, some ammo boosters, something like cryo ammo or disruptor ammo or incendiary ammo, because these things also prime enemies as well, and that means that your charge is going to set off biotic explosions. I have a point in Shockwave. I barely use it. I don't even use it as a dump stat. Really, my plan for this build, in fact I'm going to do it now, is start building up my Apex training with the theory that, yeah, okay, there's not much use here for building up my weapons, but I can get a bit more power damage here. At rank 4 I can go for power damage. At rank 5, not really much to write home about either way. Fine headshot damage and spare ammo capacity. The spare ammo is nice, I suppose. Aerial combat, you're not going to be hovering really too much. If you're hovering, you're basically waiting and trying to get a better viewpoint of enemies to be able to charge at them. So perhaps hover duration is something that you want to get into. Really, it's a toss-up rank 5. What you actually want is rank 6 power specialist, and that gives you plus 20 recharge speed for every single one of your skills, which means that you can use charge that much more regularly. The recharge time on charge, if you rank it up as it currently stands, is 6 seconds. So really, charging and punching, there's not much downtime on charge whatsoever. You don't have to worry too much. Just look for the next thing to punch and away you go. This build is a lot of fun. Punching things is absolutely fantastic. Charging around the battlefield is great. Let me know what you think about the build in the comments below. It's something that the community has been using in various ways, shapes and forms to very, very good effect. Are there some different weapons that you would consider using? Specifically if you were playing on gold? Would you consider ranking up the skills slightly differently? Let me know what path that you take with your Human Vanguard, and if you want to see some more class build videos on my channel, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps me out, helps me know what sort of content that you want, and it also helps other people find my content too. But I've been the Beanie 101. Thank you ever so much for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next video.